FM. Yay, we're alive. We're alive. We're alive for sure to be here alive. Hi, everybody. Hello, Alison. Welcome to this platform. I'm so happy that you are my guest today. And
Thank you.
this is Alison Cox, everybody. She's a certified facilitator from Denver, Colorado, in United States. And you're also a specialty facilitator for Talk to the Entities, right? SE, and now Conscious or Conscious Writer.
Yeah, so not
Cool.
not a specialty facilitator for essays, but talk to the entities and conscious source, conscious writer for sure.
Yeah, amazing. And what is unique about for me, whenever I see Allison, it is some sort of joy and happiness. I know I already have it, but she reminds me more of that if I am not in that space. Whenever I see her, that's the energy that I perceive. And I don't know how many guests I have so far, but we're talking about perspectives on presumptive and reactive realities. And we can go anywhere with that. I know it's a lot of things that we are becoming aware of since this topic came about. And Allison is an oracle alongside with Monica. She's oracling Dane, and it pinged me to ask her presumptive and reactive realities about communication. That is a different space when they're oracling. I'm sure there is no space for presumption. Otherwise, you cannot do what you're doing. What is your take on what would you describe it as, being a communication, a different way of communication, and presumptive and reactive realities versus that?
Wow. Oh, I'm like, wow, I wonder what we'll say about that. But even you bringing up the subject of communication, where
Mm-hmm.
most people would go to, okay, I'm saying this, so that must mean what I'm saying, and you should believe me.
Yeah,
That would
totally.
be the presumptive reality that is true.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, you could go into the needs of reactive realities of, okay, this person always lies to me, or yes, I'm going to believe what they say, but lately, like I had a friend or a client a while ago, like everyone she was talking to was saying they were going to do something, like they would make a plan with her, or they would say they would do this at work, and then she's like, what is going on? Like no one is doing what they're saying they're going to do. No one's meeting me at the time they say they're going to meet me. No one's going through with what they say they're going to do for creating my business, like all these things. And so that was right before presumptive realities came out. So we
Mhm.
started pock and potting all of her presumptive realities about what people she presumed they were going to be based on what they said. And those people started to disappear, or those situations didn't show up as much anymore.
Wow, that's amazing.
And
A- And I know you are very good with engaging with people, and in that sense, where do you see the need of reactive realities, especially in the engaging with people that you come across?
totally. So a lot of times, I would say one of my capacities is I'm pretty good at listening to people. The more you
Mm.
listen to people and just stay quiet, maybe ask a question, allow them to get out what they need to get out, you really start to open up a whole different world of information, communication, based on, again, what their conclusions are, what their points of view are, what their questions are, where they think their limitations are. And you can gather that information if you're going that route, if that's something you're
Yeah,
interested in
yeah.
getting. Basically, like asking a question and just receiving the information is a lot easier for me to communicate with people than
Mhm.
assuming most of us, I would say, would like meet someone, and just in the blink of an eye you have all of these like points of view about, okay, is this person male, female, what's
Mhm.
their culture, Like, what do they look like? What are they wearing? And all of those things will automatically mean something in the background of your brain, which is the
Hmm.
presumptive realities. And then you'll create either a need of reactive reality, like, oh, this person is going to uh, they're going to treat me a certain way based on all of these things. So I will either go in and only find those points that I've decided that person is going to be with me. So if it's like,
Hmm.
whatever, I don't know, like a woman, like if you're a woman and you're talking to another woman and you have the presumptive reality that women are mean to you, other women are
Hmm.
mean to other women, you will literally only allow whatever your points of view about that person to show up as that.
Yeah.
Or you'll have that presumptive reality about the woman and you will be like, nope, I already know I'm going to get the reaction of they're going to be mean to me. So I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to totally avoid talking to this person, communicating to this person, energetically engaging with this person at all, because I
Yeah.
already know what's going to happen. And no thank you. So I
And the
would,
automatic
yes,
responses are ready.
yes, I would suggest like go ahead and just acknowledge those things if they do come up, like, oh, I don't want to go to that party, or I don't want to do that interview, or I don't want to like apply for this job. Notice what shows up and then let all of that go. If you can ask, okay, is this actually going to contribute to my target in life or in business or for fun, for social things, whatever? Is this going to contribute? And if I didn't have to listen to any of these presumptive realities or these reaction things that don't really feel so good, and I'm already assuming things, what
Mhm.
could I explore and find out about this person or with this person or who knows what? And not just people, but people, for example.
That is amazing. And the two examples that you gave, the one client beforehand, looking at, actually, it is a difference between listening and hearing. You
Yes.
said you're good at listening. There is a totally different depth and breadth of listening versus hearing. Would you like to just go? I mean, it's obvious, but would you like to say more about that?
Yeah. Obvious. And then my brain's like, oh,
Yeah.
but you
Ooh.
this way and this way. I would say listening is really receiving what the person is saying to you with interesting point of view. And I'm
Mhm.
sure you've probably talked about an interesting point of view on the show before, but basically, like, what if it was just a gift for you to sit back and receive what the person would like to get off their chest? Or even, when you're talking to someone and it's kind of like choppy at first, and like the
Mhm.
person or you are perceiving everything in their world and it's like, "Ugh," you think it's yours, and they're most likely doing the same thing. And maybe their coping mechanism for when they meet people is just to like vomit of the mouth at
Yeah.
first, or just to shut up. But the more you ask a question and relax and just be a space of listening and truly receiving the
Mhm.
good, the bad, and the ugly of that person, the more the other person's going to relax, the more a space is going to open up, that I would say is true communication and
Yeah.
true listening, even if there aren't words. And hearing, of course, you can hear the words.
Yeah. And then get stuck with what it means and what it does to you, yada yada, and go to the reactive realities. In that form of listening, even in psychology, it is said that less than 5% of the words have any effect on the communication. More than 95% is actually just energetic and physical. And whatever you are exuding with your body, that is the reaction, or that is the trigger that goes on between people. People do not hear you really, in that sense, that the way you are listening, that is
Yeah,
a true hearing and listening to the subliminal, like, or underlying energies that is not even spoken about.
right. I
And
had no idea that that was in psychology too. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah,
How
I studied certain forms of modalities before, and that was like, wow, even psychology can talk about that. How much energy are we really in exchange with, but we're not even really aware of it? When someone
right,
tells you something, supposedly a nice sentence complimenting you, but you know underlying energy that it's a judgment, looking like a positive comment, you
right.
react automatically unless you are interesting point of view. Thank you for bringing up, especially in the terms of, in the context of communication, being in the interesting point of view is totally vital.
Yes. The number one best friend tool ever, being interesting point of view about everything. Like, oh, thank you for the information. You never have to react to anything, and then you can choose based on the information you're receiving or whatever you would like. And you can choose to react if you want to. What if it's fun? And what if it will create more?
Yes. Yes, exactly. And how that's how actually the engagement and communication can be really fun instead of a stress and presumptive and reactive reality. Dual grounds
Yeah.
actually is a dual ground of presumptions and reactive realities. Oh, this is the right way to react when she says that or he says that. Instead, it can be much more um, possibilities covered with possibilities when you have interesting point of view and just listen to the whispers of the energies that is spoken. And in that sense, I want to ask you, because I think it is a totally different capacity, especially to Oracle Dane, I'm sure. What is your, how would you describe what it's like to do the oracling within that scope?
Trick is I put little tiny ears on each finger. It is such a gift to Oracle Dane. I would say it's like allowing my space to be so big, allowing myself to be so vulnerable, and him allowing himself to be so vulnerable so that myself and Monica can actually be in his head. Um,
Mhm.
and I don't even know, you can't really, I don't know how to describe it, but just kind of like a almost simultaneous download and no thinking aloud whatsoever. And and you just let your fingers go. Also, the presumptive, oh my gosh, like the need of the presumptive reality that you have to get everything perfect and the need of reactive reality for what perfect is or is not has to go out the door.
Yeah.
Like no room for that whatsoever. If Monica's watching, we like laugh so hard about my spelling because I create new ways of spelling things and kind of new words. They're the best. Like it's hilarious. But you get the gist, like the energy of what is coming out of Dane's mouth gets put in there and is a huge contribution plus comedy plus humor.
Mhm.
So I'd say even like doing a Facebook live like this, if you have like a fear of even like being an oracle or doing a Facebook live or putting yourself out there, like letting go of the fact that you have to explain everything and get everything right,
Yeah.
good, perfect, or correct. Just let that go because that is only designed to stop you from doing everything. You have no idea what you're capable of, and it's going to be completely different than how anybody
Yeah.
else does it. I promise.
Yeah, that is totally true. And if you don't know, I have been writing down, planning it all so much. There's so much structure, which is a lie, because in
Mhm.
that sense, you really try to be perfect and nothing flows. Where everything flows is when you are just open to the energy and the engagement, and the interaction creates its own form of communication, which I have finally allowed through access, and I'm so grateful for this. Otherwise, I have done public speeches before. I was always paralyzed.
Oh
Oh,
my
that
God,
I'm
me
going
too.
I'm going to make a mistake, and there are hundreds of people. I should say everything right, and I never could. But now I don't care if there's 1,000 people. I will say whatever comes out, and there's so much freedom in that.
Totally.
Uh,
And were you still alive afterwards, even if you messed up?
Yes, exactly. And who's the one judging the most? You.
Yes,
Nobody
always.
really. Yeah, it's always you. And what if, we all have that capacity because all of our first language is energy. What if we all have this capacity? I have heard from previous interviews that people commented, "You're so different with every guest." Yeah, just the way you describe, yeah, because we don't have form structure. Whatever that interaction creates, that is what comes out. And
Absolutely.
what if,
That
yeah,
was making me think of plants for some reason too. Like, what a great example. You
yeah,
just saying that, like, yes, we can communicate with people, we can talk to people, but everything is energy. And if you want to even just practice at home, if you have like plants in your house or your apartment or something, or any like an inanimate object, you can
hmm,
start to ask those things to start communicating with you. They already are, even your
yeah,
chair, like two different chairs. Like even just see two different things in your house, whether it's plant, chair, your favorite fork, whatever. Just start to ask, like today, like, hey, can you show me something new? Or what's the space of you that I haven't acknowledged? And kind of like see how it feels today. Like notice the chair, notice the plant, kind of see how
hmm,
it feels today. Notice what comes up. And like if you're like, I don't really get anything, or yeah, I guess just notice if there's space, if there's some kind of vibration, or if even if an emotion comes
hmm,
up, and then go back the next day and look again, ask again, be present again, and see if anything is different. If this plant is different than the chair, or if the chair is different than another chair, and all of the communication and information that even the not talkative things have in your house and that they be.
hmm. Wow, beautiful.
Yes.
What question can we give to the listeners as a tool with that? Hmm. So, what beyond this reality, communication can you and your body be? Just ask that.
To
And
be.
it's a beautiful topic you have. Thank you for that. Especially with inanimate, to a certain extent, people can get talking to the plants or animals because there's livelihood in it,
Right.
supposedly. More, I mean, and then inanimate is inanimate, so there is no being there. And there, we presume the biggest presumption that they're not living, so there is nothing to communicate.
Yeah.
uh, Thank you for bringing that up.
I was like, even like coffee mugs. Like there's some coffee mugs that I love drinking
Yeah.
out of. If I have to drink out of the other ones, fine. But some of them I'm like, yes. This one, big, powerful, deep, earthy ones. And so that itself is an energy that those mugs are being, that is such a contribution for me, for my
Mhm.
preference of energies. So you can even look at just even acknowledging that you really admire something in your house is an acknowledgement of the communication of energy that that object has.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I learned that tool, I was looking at every object in my house, if it's a contribution or where they stay is a contribution or not. Maybe it needs a change of space, or it may be needing to get out of your house. What if you looked at everything you own as a contribution or
Yeah.
not so much?
Right. And if you're stuck in a presumptive reality that this thing is still
Mhm.
just because you inherited it or it was your favorite in high school or something, like those are all presumptive realities. And then you have the need of reactive reality or the avoidance of choice
Yeah,
based
yeah,
on this is who you are. So you
yeah.
could go around pock and potting all of your presumptive realities and need of reactive realities on all your stuff and see if anything changes. Like, bye bye, time to go. Guess like it's time to get rid of that old shirt from high school or Maybe not.
Exactly. Alison, thank you so much. It's been a total pleasure. And
Thank you.
Alison, I think the closest upcoming class that she has is the Conscious or Conscious Writer class in Texas, Blyberville, The Ranch, with
Hooray!
Georgia Boston, right?
Yes, with George.
And if you want, you can just Google her, and we can also share it underneath later on. And much more she's doing. You can follow her on social media. Thank you, Alison.
So much. What a pleasure being here. This is fun.
Yeah, thank you. For me too. I'm just ending the broadcast now. But we're still live.